Of course, it didn't happen now. So this is a weird screen, though. I don't recognize this. But hello, welcome to a new episode of Dylan Knows. It is September 13th, 2025, 10:43 p.m. I honestly, to tell you the truth, I was expecting that this was not going to work right away because the last couple of weeks I've been doing this show, there have been multiple technical difficulties. And honestly, I'm not quite ready to go because I thought I was just being a little sarcastic, but I can run some stuff over there as well. So I got my brand new episode of Dylan Knows here, and special one. This is my 12th anniversary, and actually I am kind of seeing a little bit of fuzziness. So it's my 12th anniversary, and that means on September 15th, which is still a couple days away, 2013, I started the show. It was on a Sunday. Tony Solo and Larissa were my first two guests. Tony was actually helping me out with the technical stuff. I'd never done a stream on my own before. I'd done parts of Snark Alec Radio before, but this was the first time I'd done one on my own. And back then, when I first started doing it, every week was going to be a different theme. Larissa has a connection to the supernatural, so we were going to do supernatural stories, and I had my comic show, I had my list show, and then just my whatever I feel like show. Actually, my wife was going to do a show for the fourth week, but she only did like 3 episodes and then said, I don't want to do this anymore. So then I just turned it into International Dylan Knows with Bronwyn from Canada. We're just sort of us talking, and then that all just sort of disappeared and dissipated as well. So here I am now, 12 years later. So, well, it's reversed. So there you go, 12 years. 12 years later, and surprised as hell that the computer decided to work for me. Finally opening up the Canada Dry Black Cherry Wishniak. I'd had it before. It's similar to the vanilla one. It's not new. It's been out forever. But it's been sitting in my refrigerator for about a month now. So I can finally drink it now. I was trying to get a trolley, which is the new Mountain Dew thing, but it's only available at Walmart right now, or so I thought. But I went up to Food Lion today to go grocery shopping, and I saw 12 packs of trolley there, but no loose ones. So I wasn't going to just buy a 12-pack and then try it and then say, you know what, this sucks. And then I was done. So they had 11 cans left over, so I have to still wait to find it. So I probably hit it closer to October once we get closer to Halloween, and we're getting closer there now. Right now, it's the 13th, so 17 days until actually 18 days till October. A little bit less than 10 days to first day of autumn, and unfortunately, summer is dropping some Indian summer on us. So we're getting some, it's not really Indian summer, it's still technically summer, but not terrible summer. It's in the 80s, stuff like that. My wife and son are backpacking on the C&O Canal. They've already backpacked, and now they are just camping and doing some fun stuff. So we've done all that. My daughter's still at school. She has a driving thing she has to do next week, next Thursday. And originally it was going to be up here, but then got a message today that it's in Arnold, which is 45 minutes away from here. Actually, technically, it's like closer to 30 some minutes away from my work. So I'll probably just pick her up at UMBC and drive back on a Thursday night during rush hour towards Anne Arundel County in Arnold. It's not fun, and I'm not excited about that. My stepmother just had surgery. I think she had rotator cuff surgery yesterday, I believe. So she's in recovery right now. So hopefully she's going to be doing okay. And that's really all about it. But yeah, so 12 years of doing this show. As of Monday, I figured, why wait until the next week when it's going to be the 20th, 21st, where I'll to start talking about my 12 years, since technically it's only 2 days away. So I figured I start it now, and we do all the discussion now. So that's what we'll talk about here. So yeah, a lot of stuff happened this week. I'm not going to talk about a lot of it because it's making this earth and this world and this country even more divided and even more disgusting. All you know is there was a shooting of a prominent right-wing person, pretty graphic shooting. And while he was doing a live promotion sort of thing, and immediately the people on the right started declaring it a left trans black person issue and threatening us and screaming why we weren't more sad that someone was killed and his family and all that stuff, when they didn't have the same vitriol when two Democratic actual politicians were assassinated in their house, along with their dog. There was no vitriol from them. Actually, they made jokes about it, so I did not feel guilty about that. A distant family relative who's really not related by blood, so I don't feel so bad about cutting them out of my life here, got into an argument with me on Facebook. I said, why am I still following your dumbass? Because all you talk about is this bullshit and you're a fucking nurse who doesn't believe that COVID exists. So, and you had it last time I saw you, so whatever. Anyway, I had it with her. She said that she never heard of the Minnesota senator and her husband and their dog getting killed. And it was done in their home and not in a public thing. So the death of this Republican right-winger is worse because it was done live and not in someone's home. That was her rationale for why we should be more sad. And it was what she called a tit for tat. Yeah, it's tit for tat because you actually politically assassinate someone. This right winger that you are all mourning was not a political person at all, but because he had the vitriol that the felon in chief believes in, he's getting all the bells and whistles for his funeral and stuff like that. And guess what? Turns out the shooter was one of y'all, was a right winger who thought that he wasn't right wing enough. And you were blaming us. And yet no one's apologizing. And even the widow is still screaming that it's the left was the one that did this and not the person they have in custody who said that they did it and confessed to it, which still seems kind of a little odd. I believe there might be more to the story than they're letting on, but I'm not going to get into details now that this person has fully surrendered. If they were going to manufacture a crisis, they would have found somebody else who had a different affiliation. But you really can't because this person is one of you all. And that's all I'm going to say about that. There's so much more I want to say about it. It absolutely, this week has been really, really hard on me because everyone's screaming and feeling all angry and depressed about what happened to this one right winger who was not a very nice person, by the way. Said black people were stupid. Believed that, after the shooting of a bunch of young kids at a school, that some deaths were required to keep the Second Amendment as a law, stuff like that. And belief that the Civil Rights Act should never have been signed, that Martin Luther King was a lunatic. Yeah, it's great stuff. So I'm not going to go into detail with that. I really could go off on it, and I contemplated doing a whole show about it, but I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to do it. I got other stuff on my mind that I want to talk about. Not as much as this right now, but I figured I'd drop a little bit about that. Oh, yeah, and their allies, Russia, have invaded Poland. Invasion is they dropped what do you call those probe things into Polish airspace, and one blew up a house, and a couple were shot down, and they were not supposed to do that. There was no reason for them to do that. So they actually broke a treaty with NATO. So there's all kinds of shit stuff going on. Oh, yeah, and it was the 24th anniversary of 9/11. Next year will be the big one, 25th anniversary of it. So that happened on the same day that this person, a day before, rather, or the day after, day after this right winger got killed. So that was fantastic. And then on 9/11, I was trying to take my son to Scouts, and an old dude who always parks behind our car in the no parking only zone happened to pull up just as I was coming out. And I accidentally rammed into his car a little bit, and he went off on me, despite the fact of saying you're not supposed to park there, and I need to put a little bit of gas on it so I can make my turn here, which is why you don't park here, so I can turn my car around and get out of here because I had to take my son to Scouts. But he was a dick about it and bitched about it and moaned about it. Whoa, Pepper. And that left me cold also. So it's just not been, Pepper, it's just not been a great week. I did absolutely nothing this week. I feel guilty sometimes when my wife and son, who weren't here, and nobody was here in the house but me and my pepper here, I did absolutely nothing of value. I went on social media. I played some Fortnite. I bought groceries, and I prepared for the show, and that was all I did. And I watched a movie. I watched Knives Out, which I hadn't seen in a while. I should probably write that up in my letterbox here real quick, because, again, I was not expecting this to be ready. But, when you expect one thing, something else is going to happen, and that when you don't want something to happen this time, it won't. Let's put that in there. There. Save. And out we go. All right, that was quick and easy. So here we are. We're 10 minutes in. What else should we talk about this week? Oh, yeah. What else made this week suck? Last Sunday, the Baltimore Ravens played the Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football. And going to the fourth quarter, the Ravens had a 15-point lead over the Buffalo Bills. Things were going good. Derrick Henry was running all over the Bills. Lamar was having a hell of a night, but so was Josh Allen. And because we're the Ravens and because it always happens, we ended up giving up that 15-point deficit and allowing the Bills to win with no time on the clock, 41-40. So, game we should have won, we lost. 17th in our career where we've given up a double-digit lead going into the third or fourth quarter and losing the game. Absolutely everybody was losing their fucking mind about this, that coaching staff's got to go. The defense sucks. Everything is terrible. I used to be that guy. I absolutely used to be that guy. But let me tell you what I told everybody else. It's week one. Week one. There's 16 more games they have to play. Last year, the Ravens went 0-2 to begin the season. They lost to the Chiefs in a heartbreaker on a Thursday night to open the season last year. And then a game that they should have won at home against the Raiders, they lost to a backup quarterback whose name I couldn't even remember right now. Gardner Minshew, I think is what his name was. And he beat us. The Raiders beat us. And we started 0-2, almost went 0-3 because Dallas had our number playing an NFC team going into the third week. And then we somehow were able to pull out the win on that one. And then we didn't look back. And we ended up going to the playoffs. I think we only ended up losing 2 more games that season. And we lost the playoffs to the Bills. Yes, we did. I admit that. But we made it to the playoffs. We won a ton of games. Our Lamar should have won the MVP, so on and so forth. We're not going to cover that ground. This is week one. We lost 41-40. Yes, it sucks that we lost 41-40. And yes, tomorrow looks like a trap game. We're playing the Browns at home. The Browns are a shitty team, but they held the Bengals to 17 points and just lost by 1. They should have won on a field goal, but they didn't get it off the ground. They lost 17-16 in week one. So either the Bengals are really, really bad or the Browns defense is really, really good. And then tomorrow is going to be Joe Flacco, who is their quarterback, will be returning to Baltimore for the first time. He's playing the Baltimore Ravens for the first time ever as an opposing member of the team. So we'll see. It's in Baltimore, and then it's lining up to be another one of those weird things because then week 3 we play the Detroit Lions on a Monday night, which is an NFC team. Could we be 0-2? Sure. Could we be 1-1? Absolutely, we could be. It's week 1. Yes, we lost. We put up 40 points on the vaunted Buffalo Bills. Yes, we gave up 41, but we put up 40 points on the Bills. The Bills are really one-dimensional. If something, God forbid, I don't want anything to happen because I like him. If anything happened to Josh Allen, Bills are toast. There's nobody that they have no real big playmakers, and the quarterback is really the only one who is the guy who's that guy. So if anything happened to Josh Allen, the Bills are going to be in a lot of trouble. Now they're playing one of the weakest divisions, sure, but they're still playing a top-level schedule, and they could lose a hell of a lot of games. They still have to play the Kansas City Chiefs, and they still I don't even know who they're playing in the NFC. So We'll see what happens. The only thing this loss did for us, it was not a divisional loss. The only thing that this loss screwed us in is that if by the end of the year, Buffalo and the Ravens have the exact same record and they need to figure out who's going to be number 1 or number 2 seed or number 2 or 3 seed, the seeding in the playoffs, the Bills will get the higher seed due to their victory today or last Sunday. That's it. That's the story. We put up 40 points on them. We did not play during the preseason. We never played during the preseason. And we looked pretty good for 3.5 quarters, and then we just, whatever, we lost it. I don't know. It was the fumble Derrick Henry had, the not going for it on 4th and 3, stuff like that. There were a myriad of things that could have been gone differently. What if the Bills, who were stopped on 3 2-point tries, what if they were not stopped on them? They would not have to worry about that. They'd be beating us. But at the same time, though, this game wouldn't have turned out the same way, because if they had a closer score to us, because they got these 2-point conversions, you play the game differently. It's a game. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You lost one, you lick your wounds, you come out tomorrow, you look good. The Browns also have been trash talking us, and that's never really a good thing. It's a home opener. It's a divisional game, and it's Joe Flacco, who was okay, but I think we have a decent shot at beating them. Could we lose? Absolutely, we could lose. I would not be surprised if we lost either, but I don't think that's going to happen. We'll see. Right now, it has nothing to do with anything. So we'll see how things go on that. All right. Here comes the yawn. I always have to yawn. So I got all that out of the way. So let's start talking about the pop culture and science and stuff that's going on this week. Now, I wrote a couple because at work I had very little to do. So I did about 4 sides of this, so we're good. Here we go. A new chapter of the Epic of Gilgamesh has been recovered and released. The Epic of Gilgamesh has been around for centuries, and a new chapter had been discovered recently. And someone made the great comment is that a new part of the Epic of Gilgamesh has come out before the next Game of Thrones book. So I think that's hilarious. Leslie Odom Jr., who originated the role of Aaron Burr in the Hamilton musical, has decided he wanted to go back and reprise his role on Broadway. So Leslie Odom has joined the Broadway cast again to play Aaron Burr again. So he's been doing that lately, so good on him. New trailer and poster for Coyotes, a new horror film with Justin Long and Kate Bosworth. I think they're married in real life, honestly, if I think about it. I could look it up, but I'm not going to. I think I talked about this last week, but I'm going to announce it again. James Gunn announced this week or last week or whatever that the sequel to Superman called, I think it was last week I talked about it, called The Man of Tomorrow, will be coming out sooner than later. And it was announced this week, this is for sure, that filming will start on the sequel to Superman in April of 2026. So it's coming really, really soon. So that's pretty good. $19,000 worth of Pokemon cards were stolen from a gamer shop in Carroll County here in Maryland. Pope Leo declares Carlo Acutis, a team computer whiz, the first millennial saint. So that's interesting, an intriguing storyline there. Charles Melton and Lucy Liu are set to team up for a live-action version of the anime Audition. New behind the scenes of The Magician's Nephew, the first of Greta Gerwig's Chronicles of Narnia movies. It is the first in the Chronicles of Narnia storyline. Yes, it is indeed the first. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is actually third. I forget what the second one is called. The second book is not quite as good as the first one. First one's really, really good. Second one was just kind of mediocre. Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe is good. It was Prince Caspian after that. Voyage of the Dawn Shredder's in there, and I know there's like the Silver Chair is in there somewhere, and then there's like the end or the war, the end all, everything like that. Reminder that the Chronicles of Narnia is C.S. Lewis's version of the Bible. So just let you know. Host is to release Halloween-themed treats in October. Nothing too unexpected about that, but that's something for you to keep an eye on. Harry Potter is getting a new audiobook recording, and they've casted some new people, including Kit Harington will be Professor Lockhart. Keira Knightley will be Professor Umbridge. Ivan Ream will be Lupin. Ruth Wilson will be Bellatrix. I can't make out her name. And Annabelle and Medmod as Tonks. Leo Woodell as Bill Weasley. Simon Pegg as Arthur Weasley. James McAvoy as Mad-Eye Moody. Gemma Waller as Sprout, and Matt Berry as Sir Cadogan. So some interesting British names in there as well. Some famous actors in there too. Could Paramount be buying Warner Brothers, flushed from their success thanks to The Felon in Charge? Paramount has joined with Skydance or whatever, and so flush with cash, they are deciding that the next realm of possibilities is to acquire Warner Brothers, which could be a major problem because we really don't need a massive Paramount Warner Brothers movie company, but that's none of my business. I have nothing to do with that. The Christie trailer starring Sydney Sweeney, her Oscar bait film about a female boxer, was debuted. Her film debuted at, I think, the Venice Film Festival too. Okay. Reviews, nothing spectacular. They said Sydney Sweeney does a really, really good job, but the film itself is just sort of meh. But we'll see what happens. That's set to come out next couple months. Speaking of Sydney Sweeney, a first look at The Housemaid, her movie with Amanda Seyfried, which is set to debut on Christmas Day, is incoming. No trailer yet, but just some pictures. Looks like a modern retelling. Of course. All right. Fuck you. Oh, there we go. No, it's good. All right, good. So they reconnect. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is, but YouTube is all fucked up. So I just talked about The Housemaid with Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried, due to come out around Christmas time. I'm going to first look at that. Maxwell Friedman and Andrew Andrew King Bach, Bachelor, that's a long ass name, are said to join Violent Night 2. I have no idea who they are, so they must be somewhat famous. The Highlander start date, the remake of the Highlander movie, the start date has been pushed back due to Henry Cavill's injury during training. He needs time to recover, so instead of starting filming later this year, it's been pushed off to 2026, which is going to push the movie back further, so it might drop out of 2026 and go into 2027 now. We'll see how things go. Michael Stipe, the lead singer of REM, for years, people were always trying to figure out what he was singing in It's the End of the World as We Know It, and I Feel Fine. He went to one of the social media sites, not exactly sure which one, and clarified a couple of the lines people always get wrong and wrote exactly what they were, so that's kind of cool. Netflix is doing a live-action version of My Hero Academia. That's a intriguing idea, so we'll see how that actually works out. People are saying that could be a pretty decent thing coming if they've done right properly, so we'll see. I mean, they've done One Piece right so far, so we'll see what happens with that. Amy Garcia joins Dead City Season 3. Alley Cats, as Ricky Gervais, has an animated comedy series set to debut in 2026 for Netflix. We got a first look at that as well. I don't know if my cat's still in here or not. New Girl Scout cookie, Exploremons. Tastes like a rocky road, they say. And Arizona is releasing chocolate egg cream soda. So that's a intriguing idea as well. Anniversary this week, Rounders, the poker game with Edward Norton and Matt Damon, debuted 27 years ago this week. Death, Dr. Meldrum, a Bigfoot investigator, passed away this week as well. On to next, hoping that it's still recording. It should be because it seems to be reconnected, but don't know why I'm having the issue and have been recently, so we'll see. An army of jellyfish have attacked a nuclear plant in France for the second time, forcing them to shut down the reactor. So either the jellyfish know something we don't, or they're just pissed. Don't know. Spence Moore and Charlie Mann are set to lead Stars Powers Origin. Don't know what the hell that is, but there we are. New Mexico is the first state to offer universal child care, so that's a bonus. Good job on you, New Mexico. Dolphin leaves fish on dock to the man as a present to the man who saved her calf. The Norfolk Tides, the Baltimore Orioles AAA affiliation, had a take Meowth to the ball game cat day at their stadium. You always hear about dog days, but what about the kitties? And so a bunch of people brought their cat to the ball game. Robert Pattinson and Skylar Gisanello are set to star in the A24 crime drama Primetime. Brian Fuller, creator of Hannibal, says he wants to remake Silence of the Lambs and have Zendaya play Clarice Starling. He was the one that created Hannibal, the TV show. He could end up using Mads Mikkelsen again as Hannibal Lecter if he does decide to make a movie and connect it to the TV show. I forget who played the male actor who was in Manhunter with them. Elio is set to stream on September 17th on Disney Plus. That's coming up this week. Michael Caine has unretired to star in a sequel to The Last Witch Hunter with Vin Diesel. Of all the movies that you could come out of retirement for, it's not a Christopher Nolan movie. It's a Vin Diesel sequel called The Last of the Witch Hunters. The Last Witch Hunter, which he did star in the original one. Did not do very well at the box office, but the reasoning is that Vin Diesel and him are very close friends, and he decided to do him a favor, despite the fact that Michael Caine is 92 years old. But good on him. Man jumps off a cruise ship to avoid paying $16,000 in gambling debts, though he was finally recaptured as well. Fortnite OG Season 6 is set to return on October 3rd. It is a Halloween-themed season, so just in time for Fortnitemares, which is good. NASA believes, this is the big news of the week, NASA believes they found fossils of microbial life on Mars. So the Mars surveyor or whatever who's rolling around there on the planet now went into a crater or a valley or whatever used to be a old seabed and sent back these pictures that scientists, when they saw them, were like, oh, wait a second, is that what we think it is? They think it might be fossils of some kind. So they dug some up and did some preliminary research on it, and the findings appear to back that up, but they will not know for sure unless they get those samples back on Earth, which at this point, there is no way they'll be able to. But the fact that they were able to find this maybe makes them, there is some landers that have been able to do that and relaunch and return samples from Mars. They might try, or from an asteroid in this case. I don't think it happened on Mars yet. They might end up doing that with these fossils. So very well could have found proof that life did exist on Mars. Yes, it's not green Martians, but it is microbial life potentially. And that's actually kind of cool, actually, that potentially could be the case. Facts are, it was a old dried out lake bed, ancient lake bed. The items do look fossilized, and the the makeup of the rock that the surveyor sent back is the same pretty much as the fossils here on Earth. So we shall see what happens. Speaking of stuff like that, the military released a video of a UFO deflecting a missile off of it. And on top of that, no, we'll get to that later because there's some other UFO news, so I'll do that later in the show. So we'll talk about later. This week, Nintendo did a huge drop of all these new games coming up and some new stuff, including Mega Malamar, Mega Greninja, and Mega Raichu X and Mega Raichu Y, part of the new Pokemon Z to A. There's also Mario Galaxy 1-2, which would be is to be released on the one video game. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff that was revealed that I will reveal later on in the show. Fester will be getting a spinoff from the Netflix TV show. Fred Armisen, I think, plays him, so he'll be getting a spinoff show with Fester, which was if I remember correctly, that was kind of the original plan when Tim Burton announced that he was going to be producing a Wednesday show for Netflix. He said it was just going to focus on Wednesday and be like a detective story, but he was going to introduce the Addams. And then if it got a good reaction, which it has, its second season just ended. It's been announced for a third season and now the spinoff. Tim Burton said that he might lead to an Addams Family revival as well. That has not been announced yet. Maybe they're not going to announce that until after Wednesday has completed its run. But this spinoff is potential, could be the changing of the guard. It's like, okay, we're going to give Fester a spinoff. And then if that's successful, then maybe we'll just do one with the whole family because you're not going to do one for every character. You're not going to give everyone their own little spinoff. So we'll see how that goes. Dev Patel and Rose McEwen are set to star in Rabbit Trap. That's a trailer came out for that, I believe. Also in Fortnite, the Batman 1989 Batmobile and the Back to the Future DeLorean are set to come to Fortnite, and also a Sonic collaboration will also be making its debut here very soon also. We got our first look at Joel Carnan's the Rip trailer with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. It's an action film. I actually did not find the trailer, but it is out there. I saw some pictures from it, and it's what you expect. Male guinea pig named Randy, of all names, broke into a female-only enclosure and impregnated all 100 females. You go, Randy, you Randy bugger. Displaced koala cuddles up with a human camping in the outback. Video of that as well. It's kind of sweet. Since late May and early June, 4 sightings of the deep sea oarfish, or as people are calling the doomsday fish, have been spotted. So I'm not saying that has anything to do with anything, but the fact that it has the name doomsday fish is very telling. Anniversaries: Voltron, 41 years ago this week. X-Files, 32 years ago this week. Hellraiser, 38 years ago this week. True Romance, 32 years ago this week. And the Beetlejuice animated show, 36 years ago this week. Let me just write something out there. Deaths. Polly Holiday, who played Flo on Alice, and I discovered also she played Marva Sr. in the Nancy Meyers, Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap. She passed away this week at the age of 88. And Doris Cookie Cook, American Girl baseball player, died at the age of 94 this week. That's it for this page. I'm done with this guy. All right, let's go. Give me a second. Aha. Slide you right there. 3 new deep sea species have been discovered off the coast of California. Cake Boss offers to make Taylor and Travis's wedding cake after Foreigner announced that they would like to be the wedding band. So, of course, all the celebrities are going to be coming out of the woodwork saying, we'll do this, we'll do this. Maryland is, for the second year in a row, the second happiest state to live in, according to Wallet Hub. So congratulations to you, Maryland. Spaceballs 2 is set to start filming in Australia soon. Rick Moranis was spotted flying into Australia, so he is definitely going to be in the film. Before he passed away, David Bowie was working on a secret 18th century set musical called The Spectator, and a number of notes about the musical were in his desk when they were going through his stuff when he passed away. So that could have been kind of cool if he would have survived. The movie Dolly, a horror film, cast Sean William Scott and Mix the Impaler, never heard of him, in a horror movie. Firefest musical is in the works with Rita Ora and Taika Waititi. So that's something. Song Sung Blue trailer, the Hugh Jackman, Kate Hudson, that's what it is, Kate Hudson, Neil Diamond homage band, musical, romantic comedy, drama sort of thing. Set to debut around Christmas time, debuted his first trailer. Watched it, looks a lot different than I was expecting. Yes, there is stuff about the Neil Diamond tribute band, stuff like that Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson play in, but it also appears to be following the life of their relationship as they started dating, they get married, have kids, and they're getting older, and they still have this connection to Neil Diamond. Looks to be a Oscar bait film, but also looks kind of entertaining as well. So we will see if that is indeed the case. Oh, Train Dreams. We get our first look at that. Joel Edgerton, Felicity Jones, William H. Macy, and Carrie Collins. Set debut on Netflix on November 21st. Christopher Lloyd, Carol Kane, and Sherry O'Terry are set to guest star on season 2 of Happy's Place. Don't know what the hell that is, but here we are. Patty Considine, Georgina Campbell, Lena Headey have all been cast in a new show for Netflix. Tornado hits Japan, which I've never heard of a tornado hitting Japan before, but here we are. Werewolf. The Robert Eggers' next film is started production, a 13th century werewolf story, werewolf as it is, with Aaron Taylor-Jones, Johnny Depp's daughter, and Willem Dafoe in it as well. They were in Nosferatu. They're reteaming again for this one. Lily Rose Depp. Excuse me. South Park Crocs are a thing. Did not know that is, but there we go. Last Samurai Story is a teaser trailer for a series on Netflix. Looks to be a violent sort of samurai sort of thing. Star Trek Scouts, kids animated Star Trek series debuted this week. Off Campus First Looks is a college hockey romantic comedy series. You know, first look at Dust Bunny, which is a bizarre Brian Fuller directed movie with Mads Mikkelsen and Sigourney Weaver about a couple that is hired by a girl to kill the monster under her bed. Sounded like a really interesting idea, but then we saw the trailer and it's bizarre. And it turns out that it might not necessarily be a monster, but might be a couple of killers looking to kill Mads Mikkelsen for some reason, and they attacked his neighbor's house instead. I'm not exactly sure. The trailer was really bizarre. Intriguing, but not enough for me to even care, so I'm probably not going to see it, but it looks interesting. On the flip side, before I came down here, I watched the first Knives Out movie, still classic. Glass Onion if I recall correctly, was okay, not as good as the first one. I have to rewatch Glass Onion, but I don't think I was as big of a fan as I was of Knives Out. But Rian Johnson and Daniel Craig are back for a third Benoit Blanc mystery. This one's called Wake Up Dead Man. I've been talking about this a while. We finally get our first trailer look at what the story is about. It shows off the huge cast that includes Josh O'Connor, who, according to people who've seen the movie since it was also released, I think, at the Venice International Film Festival, and did get high ratings. The consensus is an 8 to 10 for this, and said that it's a very good third movie in the series, a more intriguing mystery than maybe some of the other ones. But you've got a hell of a cast with Josh O'Connor, Daniel Craig obviously coming back as well, but you also have Glenn Close, you have Josh Brolin, you have Mila Kunis, you've got Jeremy Renner, and there's a few other people I'm missing that I know I am, but I can't think of them right now. But it's a hell of a cast, and it's an interesting looking trailer, and the Benoit Blanc movies are always good anyway, and they always have a different feel to this, and this one continues to sort of have that as well. Body was found in an impounded Tesla registered to singer David at a tow yard. So we don't know if he killed somebody and put it in the trunk, or someone just happened to pick that one at random and put a dead body in. We're not sure. 3 kids who went for a hike in the Badlands discovered a T-Rex fossil, which is something that you never expect to see, but when it happens, is kind of cool. Anniversaries: the Galveston, Texas disaster, the worst natural disaster in history, so bad that a whole novel was written about it. It's actually really, really good, written by Eric Larson. It's called like Josh's Storm or Joey's Storm or Henry Storm or Alan Storm. I forget what it's called, but it's fucking good story. I read the whole thing. It's a really interesting story. Takes place, this natural disaster happened 125 years ago, so in 1900, so right at the turn of the century. At that time, knowledge of hurricanes was only so limited. They say that they've never had any recorded, that they had during their recordings from the 1800s on up, that they've been able to have never recorded in their eyes a hurricane ever going into the Gulf of Mexico, which is obviously not true because that's where they always seem to go. But obviously they did not have a big one ever hit any of the small areas along the Gulf of Mexico area. Whatever storms they got, people probably just assume were just regular storms. Hey, they're a little bit more violent than normal, more windy, a little bit more rain, but they never really thought much about it. They'd always seen hurricanes going up the eastern seaboard. Now, also, this was 1900, so is it possible that maybe it was always this way, and then just the temperature of the earth and changes in the atmosphere, stuff like that, changed the chemistry and made it force more into the Gulf of Mexico? Sure, maybe, but I don't believe that. This one, however, was a massive size hurricane that ravaged Puerto Rico, and the Puerto Rico people are like, hey man, something's heading towards the Gulf. You need to let people know. They're like, shut up, you Puerto Rico. Oh no, it was Cuba. You Cuban a-holes. You don't know you don't know what you're fucking talking about. You're ridiculous. If it does seem to be going into the Gulf, it never will. It'll spin back out and go out the eastern seaboard or go out to the ocean or whatever. Nothing to worry about. It was something to worry about. And eventually some weathermen in Galveston recognized what was going on and tried to evacuate everybody. But it was so bad that at points, the Gulf of Mexico flooded into Galveston through the streets, wrecked houses, filled 3-4 stories houses up with water, and then retracted back into the Gulf, carrying all this stuff, including people back into the Gulf and then back and forth. Trains that were trying to leave the area. There was a trestle that got destroyed by a hurricane that killed by the remnants of the hurricane. A Catholic school, a bunch of children were killed. And when their bodies were found, they all were holding hands to the main nun who was trying to get them out to safety. This book is really, really interesting and really gives you an idea of what happened. Galveston was being set up to be the New York of the South, of the Gulf of Mexico. It was going to become one of the biggest cities in the country. And this hurricane, which I believe once they put modern day stuff on it, they said was a class 4 or 5, which was a massive storm, just absolutely demolished Galveston. I think they said 88,000 people were killed. 88,000 in one hurricane were killed because they had no knowledge of what hurricanes could do or were doing, because the only ones they'd ever watched had all gone up the eastern seaboard and never really did anything. They never destroyed towns or never did any major bad stuff. It was maybe some flooding. That was it. There was like hardly any lives lost, if any. This really opened up people's eyes and made the National Weather Service say, oh, wait a second, we should maybe take a better look at some stuff. And we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, Galveston was absolutely demolished. 88,000 people from one hurricane. That's why it is the greatest natural disaster in American history. Oh, I forgot. I missed one. The Strangers 2 trailer also debuted this week. Actually, it was a teaser trailer, not really a full trailer. But there it was. Another anniversary. New Adventures in Hi-Fi, REM's last full band album, recorded on the road during the Monster Tour. Debuted 29 years ago. It's actually a very good swan song for the quartet. After that, Bill Berry, I believe, the drummer, decided to leave the band, and it was up to them to decide if they wanted to move on as a trio or just end doing REM stuff. But Warner Brothers just paid them a shit ton of money, so REM stayed on as a trio, and they made like 3 or 4 more albums, and then scored the Man on the Moon movie with Jim Carrey during this time before they called it a day. So it's still one of their best underrated albums, and I really like it a lot. Band of Brothers came out 24 years ago this week. And welcome back, Mr. Carter. Welcome back, Carter, a show I watched religiously growing up in the early 80s because it was on after school. And it was funny. 50 years old this week. Stuart Craig, the Harry Potter production designer, 3-time Oscar winner, died at the age of 83. Amy Blanc Lacey, an actress on The Walking Dead and Halt and Catch Fire, died in a car accident this week as well. The Super Mario Galaxy movie, the sequel to the Super Mario Brothers animated film, had a surprise teaser trailer released this week and a surprise date. It will be coming out April 3rd, 2026. So we'll be seeing a sequel to the hugely popular Super Mario Brothers movie. Super Mario Galaxy is the name of it, and the teaser trailer is just a teaser trailer announcing the day it's coming out, April 3rd, 2026, and what the title of it, and just some stuff. But the animated film, yes, Super Mario Galaxy, the sequel to Super Mario Brothers, will be coming out next year. Also coming out next year, because they just finished production, Practical Magic 2 has finished production as well. I'm actually really excited for that. I can't wait to see that. See Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman reteam as sisters in a great movie. The first one was really, really good. Demon Slayer Infinity Castle dropped this weekend. Made $11 million in previews on Thursday night. Made $33 million on Friday. No word on what it made this week, but if it continues to trend, this film could hit close to $100 million. Ow, Pepper. In the United States alone, maybe 80, 90 million, depending on Sunday's numbers. Could be one of the biggest hits of the year so far in the film industry. It is a good thing for the movie theaters. It has so many people come and go watch this movie. So the fact that it made so much money is really, really good. So good on you guys on that, and fantastic job. A new lineage of tropical mammoths were found in Mexico. Hi, buddy. I love you. So it's neat to see a new lineage of mammoths. In honor of stranger... Whoops. Oh, no. You hit the mouse. You caught the mouse. He stepped on the mouse. In honor of Stranger Things, Gatorade is re-releasing Citrus Cooler. I kind of remember Citrus Cooler. It has sort of this peach color. This orangish, yellowish peach color to it. But they're also releasing the Upside Down Black Citrus Cooler, which is a brand new drink, and no one knows for sure if it's going to be a different flavor or just a different color because it's night and day. The Citrus Cooler is this peach color. The other Citrus Cooler from the Upside Down is like a dark purple, black, blue color. So could be really interesting. Also, in honor of Stranger Things, I didn't write this down, but it is on my thing. Doritos is releasing pizza Cool Ranch mixed Doritos for the Upside Down. They just announced that right before. It was one of the ones I was going to rewrite as I was waiting for the show to redo itself. Let's see if I can just get the official. Awesome. I got to add to it. Yep. Doritos Collisions, Stranger Pizza, and Cool Ranch is heading to stores here. Pretty cool. So there we go. So that's coming up as well. Sprite's Winter Spice Cranberry, which is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. It's set to return on October 13th, a little early, but what else do you expect? The Hunting Wives garners a second season, so you can see more lesbian action. A24 has landed the rights to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, what else can you really do? It's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We've seen it. We've seen multiple sequels. We've seen multiple remakes of it. Now you have the opportunity to release a new version of it, a continuation of it, and a TV show. It's a fucking horror film, slasher horror film. Why do you need to do more of them? You don't need to do more of them. But that's not my point. There are people who probably still love the show, the movie, but there we go. Sean Astin was elected to SAG-AFTRA president. Congratulations to you, Sean. He is joining his mother, who did it 37 years before he did. She was the president of SAG-AFTRA. Patty Duke, it's his mother, was the president of SAG-AFTRA 37 years ago. So Sean Astin has won that and is now the president of SAG-AFTRA. So congratulations to you. David Lynch's Compound is up for sale. It's about time. He passed away way back in January, February. So, but I wish I had the money because it's a really neat looking house and it's David Lynch and would be really, really cool. But I don't have it. June 9th, 2028 is the potential new Jurassic World movie with Scarlett Johansson. It has already been determined they will be making a sequel with Scarlett Johansson due to this Jurassic World making a shit ton of money, made more money than Superman, made more money than Fantastic Four. And it's probably, if you look at the numbers, it's up there as one of the top movies of the summer, up there with Lilo and Stitch live action and The Hunt and How to Train Your Dragons live action. I think they were all big as well, but I think Jurassic World just made a shit ton of money, and they're going to make a sequel to it as well. Speaking of Lilo and Stitch, and that's on my page as well. One of the stories I didn't get to. Lilo and Stitch has earned 14.3 million views on its first 5 days on Disney Plus. That's a record, not surprising. So congratulations to them. I have a lot of anniversaries and deaths on here. So Jamie Campbell Bower, who plays Vecna in the Stranger Things stuff, has joined the cast of Rings of Power Season 3, as has Eddie Marsan. So don't know what role he'll be playing, but he will be there. Oh, Space. Oh, yeah, I did that. Sorry, I did that one. Talked about that one already. Pokemon has another new game coming out in 2026, which is Pokemon Cross with Animal Crossing, where Ditto leads a cast of Pokemon and Pokemon Pokopia. So that should be interesting. We'll look at that. And Oregon man found naked ringing doorbells at night, leaving powder behind. That's a weird powder, not like he wasn't trying to kill anything. It was like powder that you put on your body. So don't know if he was leaving the powder in the container or he just powdered himself up and rang people's doorbells naked and they showed up on their cameras. This is more considered anniversary, so I'm probably gonna probably put it on there since I'm done all the new stuff. But 73 years ago, on September 12th and September 13th in 1952, the Flatwoods Monster, one of the most famous cryptid sightings of all time, occurred on September 12th. And it was like a sort of robotic, weird-looking sort of creature that tons of people saw, not just a few crazies, a ton of people saw. Also, lots of lights in the sky, stuff like that. And then it disappeared. Miles down the road, on September 13th, another creature, which they are calling the Framework Monster, appeared as well. Looked a lot like the Flatwoods Monster, except did not have the metallic coverings on him. So people are believing that it was the same creature seen in both sightings, and that somewhere between the sighting in Flatwood and the one where he was the Framework Monster, he shed or took off his metal exoskeleton, whatever, and what the people the next day saw was the actual alien underneath. But still kind of an interesting little twofer that was released this week as well. Continuing with the anniversaries, Kolchak the Night Stalker, 51 years ago this week, which is funny because X-Files is also anniversary was this week, and they were influenced by Kolchak. They're also influenced by Scooby-Doo, and Scooby-Doo also came out this week 56 years ago. Almost Famous debuted 25 years ago this week. Supernatural, another sort of X-Files sort of thing, debuted 20 years ago this week. Pee-wee's Playhouse debuted 39 years ago this week. Super Mario debuted 40 years ago this week, hence all the Super Mario stuff that was released this week. Pinky and the Brain debuted 30 years ago this week. The Smurfs debuted 44 years ago this week. And Peaky Blinders debuted 12 years ago this week. Deaths, we have Andy Nelson, former Baltimore Colt, and after he retired, became a well-known barbecue restaurant owner. His Andy Nelson's Barbecue, I've had it before, it's very good, is up in Hunt Valley, right near where my dad lives. So that's kind of sad that he passed away this week. Also, Matt, no. There's other death. I guess it's on the next page. Tiana Mangakahia, a star Syracuse basketball player and Australian national team basketball player, died of cancer at the age of 30. That's kind of sad. Matt Hosh, Star Fruit Books founder, a manga distributor, died of cancer this week as well. I got everything on this page. Yep. So that is it for all the papers. I just have one page left of notes in my notebook. And then this show will be over. Coincidentally, no, it isn't. I was going to say this is my last show of the summer. No, it isn't. We have one more next weekend. So, damn it. Fucking damn it. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Fucking damn it. All right, real quick before I get into that, let me take a look at the other stuff I was going to post this week or today. Before I didn't have enough time, I did post that. Moon Over Parador celebrated its 37th anniversary this week. Romantic comedy with Richard Dreyfuss. A rare Utah tornado was spotted. Pretty decent picture taken of it. The Monkees debuted 59 years ago this week. And coincidentally enough, unfortunately, we lost a member of the Monkees family, Bobby Hart, the songwriting dynamo who wrote who's half of the duo responsible for so many Monkey songs, has died. With partner Tommy Boyce, Bobby penned tracks like I Want to Be Free and Last Train to Clarksville and the iconic Monkeys theme. He also wrote other hits like Hurt So Bad for Little Anthony and the Imperials. So that was kind of sad. But the Monkeys also debuted 59 years ago this week. High Potential Season 2 trailer dropped this week. I haven't watched it yet. We also had the trailer for Nouvelle Vague, which I think I actually have on there, which was actually pretty decent. Set debut November 11th, November 14th in the United States. Yes, you know the rest of the stuff here. So, yep. Oh, yeah, we got our first look at The Witcher Season 4 with Liam Hemsworth as Geralt taking over for Henry Cavill. Set debut October 30th. For fans of The Witcher, I know y'all love Henry Cavill, but I'm looking at this video, and Liam Hemsworth looks like he's doing a fairly decent job. The special effects still look pretty decent. It still looks like an action-oriented film, and you probably are going to bitch and moan about it because, Henry Cavill's not in it, but you guys should really get over that. Liam Hemsworth looks like he's going to do a good job there. And a 7-mile wide storm was photographed over Nebraska. So that's all the stuff that I didn't get to because I thought I was going to be able to have time. So I didn't think this show was going to make it, but it did. Let's see anything else in here. Nope. Oh, please stop. Whatever. Not even gonna mention it. That's gonna be the second to last one. I'll do that too. Last story. I have two of them. Palace cat was photographed for the first time ever in India, which is a wild cat that we've known has existed, but we never actually had pictures of it. We got our first look at The Diplomat Season 3. So we got to see that. Pout Pout Fish is coming to theaters March 20th, 2026 with the voices of Nick Offerman, Jordan Sparks, and Amy Sedaris. The Foundation was greenlit for a 4th season on Apple Plus TV. Did China shoot down a UFO or did an asteroid explode? Video appeared of what looked like a strange object in the sky over a town in China at night, and then a orange explosion, and then that was it. So some people are saying that it looked like maybe an asteroid exploded over China, but others are saying that a UFO was shot down in China. We'll never know for sure because it's China. The U.S. Open last weekend, Courtney Cox was walking to her seat when she recognized an old friend, Bruce Springsteen. The two of them danced in the Dancing in the Dark video from way back in the early 80s, almost 40 plus years ago. The two of them saw each other, gave big hugs, smiled, kisses, talked a little bit, and then Courtney was on her way. So it was kind of neat to see sort of that reunion, which we weren't expecting, but we did see it. Michigan got its first snowfall fall winter 2025-2026 this week. In South Korea, there's rain-activated artwork on sidewalks that when it rains is the only way you can see it. When it's during the day, when it's dry, you cannot see the artwork, but when it's raining, the rain activates it. That's kind of interesting. Greg Sipes, who was the voice of Beast Boy for forever with Teen Titans Go and all that, has let everybody know that he was released back in April from doing any more voicing of Beast Boy after he announced that he had Parkinson's disease. Kind of a shit move, and hopefully he's going to be suing the pants off of them. Landman Season 2 trailer debuted this week. A 7.5 foot tall, I think I talked about this last week, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Christmas Chewbacca is at Home Depot for $350. Yeah, I think I did talk about that last week. An abandoned lion finds family in a feral cat colony in South Africa, so good on him. More UFOs. UFOs were spotted over Montreal this week. That's interesting. Trailer for The English Teacher, Season 2, debuted this week as well. Nouvelle Vogue, talked about that, which is interesting. It was an interesting trailer. It's going to be on Netflix November 14th, directed by Richard Linklater And it's a look at the French New Wave. It looks kind of interesting, actually, to be honest. But we'll see. A fugitive father who has been hiding with his 3 children in the New Zealand wilderness was shot dead in a standoff 4 years after he ran off with his kids. Well, I got left as 2 last stories. Anniversary is G.I. Joe, 42 years ago this week. Once Upon a Time in Mexico, 22 years ago this week. The Game, one of my favorite underrated David Fincher movies, debuted 27 years ago this week. Psycho debuted 65 years ago this week. Star Trek debuted 59 years ago this week. Oh, so next year will be Star Trek's 60th anniversary. That's pretty cool. The Real Ghostbusters, Foofer, Pound Puppies, and Teen Wolf Cartoon all debuted 39 years ago this week. Deaths, Tommy Allen Patton, former Baltimore Oriole pitcher from the 60s, passed away this week. And Rick Davies, the singer-songwriter, keyboardist for Supertramp, Take the Long Way Home, and the something song. I have it on my playlist. The 2, his most, Take the Long Way Home, Take the Long Way Home, and then there's the other one, the Logical Song. Those are 2 of the more famous Supertramp songs. There's probably a whole bunch of other ones out there that I don't know much about, but there they are. He passed away this week as well. So lost a couple of big songwriters this week. I'll have to put Last Train to Clarksville on my playlist. So we'll see what happens. So that's it, except for the last stories. The first last story, a person has been painting squirrels. 2 squirrels have been discovered in Connecticut. One was pink, all pink, and one was all blue. The squirrels seem to be okay, but still, that's kind of animal cruelty a little bit. And why would you paint the squirrel? How did you paint this? Did you just dump paint on them? What kind of paint is it? Is it something that's toxic to them? They seem to be okay. The answer, not a lot has been answered on it, but it's interesting to see that. And finally, a blind man, age 34, who was a blind man for 34 years, can now see after his tooth was implanted in his eye. That was not an Onion story. That was in People Magazine story. So, and People Magazine is still not a tabloid, and they still do regular stories. That is, what? It can only see through one eye because you can't see through a tooth. Is maybe putting the tooth in your eye caused it to break up whatever caused it blind. I don't know, but it's a weird freaking thing to happen. And the fact that someone took a tooth and put it in their eye and they can see now, I know it sounds almost fake, but it's not. Well, more to come. Who knows? So that's it for this week. I'm home alone this week. Next week, I will have only my son home. My wife will be away camping again. Weather-wise, let's take a look at that. As I said, we're getting through the summer phase. 82 degrees tomorrow, 80 Monday, 75 Tuesday, 69 on Wednesday, 77 Thursday. I don't care. Give me this. 79 Friday, 75 Saturday, 70 Sunday, 69 Monday. So it looks like once autumn hits, we're going to start getting a little bit cooler. We still have 1 full week of summer left, and that's this week, but there's a lot of rain in the forecast. But it looks like we're going to have a little burst of heat here for a little bit, but that's okay. Hey, look at that. I was able to finish it before midnight. So again, thank you all for watching my show and letting me do this for 12 years now. I know I didn't really talk much about my anniversary this year because I've talked about it every year when I announce it. I said to just verify that I am beginning my 12th year here starting on Tuesday. So it's not even there yet, But again, I didn't want to wait till next weekend where it had been 5 days past, which I probably should have. But I figured, why not? I didn't think anything else exciting was going to happen this week, and then I was wrong. But next week, we'll see what happens. It is the last week of summer next week. Literally, because on Tuesday, the 22nd, is when autumn hits. So, or the 22nd is Monday. I'm sorry, because the 23rd is Tuesday. That's when Flo and Superman come out on Blu-ray. So, I'm probably going to order those this week. So my wife gets paid on Friday. So I'll probably pre-order those too, so I get them on time for the 23rd. So excited for that. Excited for autumn to start hitting us. As you said, the temperature looks like it's going to get close to autumn temperatures by that day. We only go to Monday. Tomorrow we will have the first, well, actually, Monday is the first day of autumn. So 69 degrees and rain on the first day of autumn as of now is intriguing. So we'll see what actually happens. It's still 10 days away-ish. So who knows? All right, that's it I have for all this week. Let's go Ravens. Let's win this one against Joe Flacco and the Browns. Let's have a good week. Great movie coming out next week. Hopefully I'll be able to see it. I might have to wait till next weekend when my daughter's going to be home. And my wife might be home too because she's going to be home. But the big, bold, beautiful adventure, I want to go see that on Friday or Saturday, whatever day I can. So we will check that out as well. So we'll see what happens. But that's it. 12 years in. Still wanting to do this, so sometimes it is a slog, but it's okay. We're getting there. This world, the earth, this country being the way it is right now is sucking the life out of me right now too. So that's why right now it just sort of feels I'm underplaying stuff. But I kept the lights on today, and I'm gonna get ready to go before midnight. I got done before midnight. It's 5 minutes before midnight, 6 minutes before midnight, but that's right. And hopefully all this went through, even though I had that little problem in the middle. I think it will have, because I haven't had that sign up the whole time. So once it disappeared, I think we're okay. We'll see. I hope I don't do this again. Bye. Oh, I keep forgetting. I got to get some AAA batteries to fix my